What is up, Benkai Bunch? We're back again with another video, and this one we're going to be reviewing My Hero Academia Season 8 Episodes 1 and 2. These episodes are absolutely amazing. IMDb rates the first one at 9.8, and they gave the second one a 9.6, making them some of the highest rated anime episodes of 2025. It's super cool, but jumping straight into it, Episode 1 picks up where it left off last season. All Might, All for One, they're continuing to trade blows. All Might still using the support items, right? You know, Hercules, the cool mech suit, basically Iron Man, and he's pretty much just trying to continually like throw blows at All for One. That way his rewind speeds up and he can just cease to exist, basically. So you see them trading blows for a while. You know, we go into some backstory for All Might, which is really cool, and you have people all around the world watching this fight because it's televised. There's a scene with a boy and his grandmother, and the boy asks his grandmother pretty much like, oh, what happens if this man wins, or what happens if this man loses, to the grandma responding like, oh, it really doesn't matter because that's not our part of the world, like it doesn't concern us. But you can see the kid like visibly like enticed by this fight, like he wants All Might to win, basically. I thought it was a real touching scene that they added in there. And you go back to the fight pretty much. All Might's armor is pretty much like diminished at this point. Like he doesn't have a whole lot of pieces left on him, and so they keep going. You know, they fight, and then All for One eventually grabs onto All Might, but then out of nowhere, you know, the drones that All Might sent out come back with power cords from like the electrical lines, basically, and they plug into Hercules, and Hercules like is floating over All for One and just sends down this giant laser cannon thing on him, bro. It is crazy. And so that's just kind of holding him there, and he's not really able to get out. And then All Might, you know, he's got some, you know, some words to say, and then we cut to the next part of the episode, which is pretty much Aoyama and Plant Villain going at it, right? Aoyama's kind of just bound up. The Plant Villain has incapacitated all the other heroes. They're all like wrapped up in these vines slash piranha plant looking flower things. It's pretty cool. Fat Gum, you know, he's like shown for a bit. He goes from his fat form to a skinny form because all his energy is getting drained from these plants. And then the villain's basically telling Aoyama like, your time's up, you're a traitor, all this jazz, right? Aoyama saying like, oh no, while I'm still here, I want to do my best. This is my last day in Class 1A. His belt's broken, but he's still gonna let loose a naval laser. He does so, and then out of nowhere, Hagakure, pretty much Invisible Girl, shows up, and she's able to like redirect that laser because she can control light with her quirk, right, at the villain, and just basically solar beams this guy to hell. he's just gone, right? And so they're able to take out the villain, but the plants don't leave because they're able to stay there even if the controller is destroyed or defeated, whatever. So Aoyama and Hagakure have to go through and start helping out the other heroes. But it's also pretty funny because of the naval laser, it kind of glitches out Hagakure's quirk, so she becomes visible, right? She's not invisible anymore, and she's just completely naked. She's embarrassed, and you just kind of think like, why didn't they make her a suit like Lemillion, like out of her hair? That way that doesn't happen. But that's pretty much their segment. We cut back to All for One and All Might. They're going at it, and pretty much All Might and All for One, he breaks free from that, and he's just like glowing yellow, and he's about to go after All Might, who's like pretty much pinned up against these rocks. And then out of nowhere, All for One just freezes, and you're like, what? And then you remember Stain comes back. He's like, yo, I'm here, let's go. And that's pretty much the episode. Jumping straight into episode 2, we pick up, Stain comes in, right? He's going after All for One. They talk about his quirk, how he was able to get the blood sample and all this stuff. And then as Stain and All Might are going to charge All for One uses this quirk that just expels all the blood from his body and basically swaps his antigens, so he's able to move freely, and he just yeets Stain across the battlefield, and he just goes straight towards him, and he's telling him, I'm going to steal your quirk, basically. As he does this, he just delivers a gruesome final blow to Stain. Pretty much, it kills Stain, basically. And All Might is there. He's got nothing really left. All for One just, you know, hits him. His armor's completely gone at this point. He just has a gauntlet, and he's just like having some flashbacks to, you know, his master and Sir Night-Eye, and his legs don't even move anymore. They're not working, but he tells All for One, I'm still here, come get me, all this stuff. And so All for One goes in. He's gonna try to get All Might, but it just doesn't work, right? He tries to warp to Shigaraki, but Shigaraki's like, no, I'm not going toward you. and all this stuff. So pretty much All For One takes All Might by his leg, takes him to the battlefield where Deku and Shigaraki are fighting and going at it, and he's just like, look what I'm gonna do to your precious hero. And he's holding up pretty much like Batman did, or Bane did to Batman in movie 3, right? And he's about to like just rip him in half, and then Deku's conflicted because he can't leave Shigaraki, he can't save All Might, and he just feels hopeless. And then out of nowhere you see this explosion from the background, and it's just Bakugo standing there. He's back to life. Edgeshot was able to do his thing and revive him, and he's just glowing with energy. The sparkles around him from his quirk are going off, and there's a little flashback of All Might looking at a young Deku and a young Bakugo carrying their playing cards and just running down, lighting up the path, because they're basically the next chapter of heroes that are going to come in and be the symbol of hope and all this stuff. And then this beautiful scene of like light coming down to Bakugo, and the All Might card just appears in his hand. It's insane, and that's pretty much the episode, guys. That's what happened in episode 1 and 2. If I had to give my honest opinion for the episodes, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Just they didn't get a 10 because, you know, they weren't longer, but it was super cool to see. What did you guys think about these episodes? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.